Number 23, USC beating Nebraska 21-17. Let's go over the highest grade player, starting off with the USC Trojans. Highest grade player was linebacker Eric Gentry, 78.5. To Nuke Hines, the wide receiver, 73. King Miller, the running back, 72.7. Kamari Ramsey didn't have a 724 grade. It was a 72.4 grade. Elijah Page, the tackle, 69.9. And Jaden Mayava, 68.1. Let's go over to Nebraska with their highest grade players in the loss. Cornerback Donovan Jones, 76.4. Running back Emmett Johnson, 75.5. Cornerback Andrew Marshall, 74.5. Center Justin Evans, 71.3. Keona Davis, the edge rusher, 68.9. And Dylan Raiola with a 58.6 grade in the loss. Unfortunately, Dalton, Nebraska kind of wearing those blackout unis that were gorgeous, but they're wearing black to their own funeral because their playoff hopes are unfortunately now dead after this loss to USC.
Yeah, that's done. They don't have a road at 9-3. They don't have enough good wins, and even they have their best win of the year was against Cincinnati. It was a great win, but it's too many flaws with this offense. And look, to me, you really look at this game though, and it was played at a pace that I think Nebraska would want when you're going against this USC team that can be so fast paced. And Lincoln Riley's offense, Jaden Mayava, all the weapons, everything like that. This game was played at Nebraska's pace. It was 14-6, and then it felt like even just mentally the turning point was when Dylan Raiola got hurt, right? The fumble, first of all, was a strip sack and a turnover, a fumble that prevented Nebraska from at least kicking a field goal, going up 2 scores in this game, which would have made a huge difference when you talk about the way Nebraska's secondary was playing. Their pass defense has been excellent all year, and if they got up 2 scores on USC, Jaden Mayava only completed 9 passes in this game, right? I mean, Nebraska's secondary was outstanding, but that single play just seemed to flip a switch for USC, and they went, you know what? If he's out, we have to win this football game. We have to come away out of here with a win. You look at even the offensive grades before and after the Raiola injury. Before that injury, Nebraska, 65.5. Not outstanding, but they were up 14-6. USC with a 58. After that injury, 57.9 offensive grade for Nebraska. Obviously struggled to throw the football with their backup quarterback out there. USC, 74.3. It just felt like the switch flipped. When Raiola didn't come back out for the next drive, USC just felt like we have to. We cannot. We have an opportunity here. The starting quarterback is out. Yes, we're down a score. The fumble saved us from being down 2 scores. It just felt like for the 2 drives, even just 2 touchdown drives was all they needed, USC, in a low-scoring game like this. That was the moment right there that Nebraska's season ended because they just could not throw the football after he came back out of the game.
I mean, listen, they couldn't throw the football even when he was in the game, too. So
no, it was tough. It was tough, but you feel like
in a tie,
if USC ties the game and then Raiola maybe can put together one more drive, and I mean they put together a field goal drive on the ground. I'm not saying it would have been easy because certainly nothing's been easy for this Nebraska offense this year.
No, of course it played a part, but I want to give more credit to the USC secondary because they were shutting down Raiola even when he was out there too. That's really my set to tell stories that both teams, I mean, they were not doing well passing wise in this one. And I said in the preview, this game could come down to who runs the ball better. And it really, both teams did run the ball really well, but both teams' pass defenses stepped up in this one. USC, negative .367 EPA per pass. Mayava, only a 48% adjusted completion rate with a 57.2 passing grade. Ironically, his worst passing grade since his game against Nebraska last year. Nebraska, negative .372 EPA per pass, 98 total yards passing. Raiola obviously struggled, went down with an injury, and then TJ Lateef came in the game too. Both of them had passing grades below a 62 in this one. Just both secondaries dominated. It felt like no receivers were really getting open for either team out there, and both quarterbacks, or really all 3 quarterbacks, were missing throws in this game too.
And to your point, that's been the most frustrating part of watching this Nebraska offense all year is they just can't win downfield. They can't. Raiola, once again, 2 for 7 on 10-plus yard throws in this game. Nebraska had 1 explosive pass the whole game. And again, you're right. Credit USC and Kamari Ramsey and their secondary for playing an outstanding game. But this has been a problem. Look, they overhauled the receiving core, and they just don't throw the ball downfield well. And that's been the difference in their season to me, is they're not explosive enough in the passing game in these big games. At least if Jaden Mayava struggles, there's a few big plays coming with it in between, right? And this is probably the worst game he's played all year, but he found a way, right? He found a way when it mattered most, and he found a way once again when Mekhi Lemon didn't have a great game. I think he only had, 18 yards in this game? They just found a way to do it. And again, we talked about it, rode the freshman running back King Miller to, 120 or 130 yards on the ground. Emmett Johnson on the other side was great, too. These are two teams that really got into kind of an old-school Big Ten West game, right? If we still had divisions, it would look exactly like a Big Ten West game. You go, oh, that's normal on this side of the division. But, USC finding a way to win a defensive clash like this, you don't see that too often from these Lincoln Riley coach teams. It's big, and it sets them up for the stretch run with a couple of huge games coming up that they could really still be in this playoff race with a couple more wins. Got to find the consistency again on offense, but they were really good on defense in this game, and that made the difference.
Who do you want to shout out as your most impressive player from this game?
Their two linebackers were outstanding. I know, obviously, Emmett Johnson got a good amount on the ground, and as expected because he's been great all season. But Eric Gentry, 8 tackles, 2 stops, a forced fumble that wasn't recovered by USC, but it was where Latif was scrambling outside the pocket. Put the ball in your outside hand, please. That kills me. But an 86.6 coverage grade for Gentry. Desmond Stevens, 12 tackles, 7 stops in this game. The linebackers really stepped up, and they combined to allow just 1 catch for 1 yard in coverage. They were not just the secondary, but the linebackers were outstanding too.
Yeah, I want to shout out King Miller, the running back. Like you said, both him and Emmett Johnson were both great in this one. I'll shout out the winning running back in this game, though. Ran for 129 yards and a touchdown with 3 broken tackles, 67 yards after contact. He kept USC's offense on schedule just enough in this one, with the receivers struggling, with Jaden Mayava really struggling too, and they still won this game because of how good King Miller was on the ground. And really just an incredible story and what he's done for USC this year when Waymon Jordan goes down with an injury, Eli Sanders goes down with an injury, and you got a redshirt freshman walk-on and King Miller playing the way he's playing right now with an 83 rushing grade now on the season for King Miller. And I'll say right now, Dalton, this guy is making a serious case for the Burlsworth Trophy as the best former walk-on in college football.
It's a good call. I mean, the way he stepped up the last few games for him, especially we saw the Michigan game, he was outstanding. He was terrific in this game, and he's going to need to continue to be, right? I look at this USC team. You talk about sneaky teams with that road to 10-2. I'm going to tell you something. If USC ends up 10-2, they win these last 4 games, they're going to the playoff because their 2 losses are down to the wire against Illinois and at Notre Dame, who's also very good. But you have a win over Michigan. You have a win over a solid Nebraska team. You've got Northwestern, Iowa, at Oregon, and UCLA coming up. You win those last 4 with those wins against Iowa and Oregon, who are also playoff contenders. They might be a team that sneaks in if they were to beat Oregon. They might get in over Oregon if that's the borderline decision there. So, I mean, you're talking about head-to-head like before with Notre Dame and Miami. This USC team is very much alive. Couple of really tough games, especially in those middle 2 with Iowa and Oregon. But Oregon's the only road game there. So there's a road here. There's a road. It's a hard road, and you're going to keep having to win close games. But USC is firmly in this playoff race for now.
And I'll tell you what, man, don't overlook Northwestern or UCLA right now either. Northwestern 5-3 on the year. UCLA, I know they're 3-5, but they've been obviously very spunky all year too, especially since firing their head coach. So I think USC right now is looking like a potential playoff sleeper, but they got to get through these 4 games coming up, and all 4 of those games will be really, really interesting games that they have the rest of the season.